Welcome to the Stygian Stilettos Gamer channel. This is your girl StygianSis. Please like, share, subscribe, help support the channel, and find me at twitter.com/StygianSis. Warning: this video contains spoilers for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and a small portion contains spoilers for Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy XVI. Hey fam, this your girl Stygian Stilettos Gamer, aka StygianSis. I am here with TifatheMonk. How you doing, girl?
Hey, I'm here. I'm very excited about this particular topic.
This is gonna be fantastic. I can't wait. I can't wait.
We've been waiting to do this one for a minute.
All right. So what we're going to do is go through the chapter 14 Dream Date. We're gonna skip around a little bit just because it's a pretty long portion. But one thing I want to note right now is this. This is part of Zack's story in the game. If you go through these chapter summaries in the game, this is part of Zack's story. So just before we even begin, I want y'all to have that thought in the back of your mind as you're watching what we watch and the things that we're going to point out, okay? All right, so we are about to watch the opening. This is when Cloud first wakes up in this dream world Aerith has concocted. And yeah, we'll go from there.
Hello. I know you're in there. Time's a wasting, Cloud, and it's not like we have much left.
That isn't meta at all.
Yeah,
she lives though. Don't worry about it. Okay.
Right. Okay.
What is this? Are we?
We could call it a homecoming. Or homeward bound, maybe? Let's just call it a dream. My dream, to be precise.
What the hell are you?
Shh. Just play along for a bit, okay?
All right, so okay, I'm gonna stop bursting into cackling laughs.
So, I definitely see what Claude's talking about. You know, you really watch her mannerisms. She is really acting weird.
Very weird.
She's smiling, but there's almost like there's definitely this like sinister, or not saying Aerith is acting sinister, but there's this sinister aura about everything that's happening right now. Like, what you're seeing going on here is a distraction from what's really going on in the background, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that she's quoting Sephiroth was a bit sinister, to be fair. I was like, girl. I
would have chosen a different sentence, Cloud's right now.
Considering Cloud was about to murder Elena using the exact same term you just used in the last chapter, I probably would have steered away from quoting Sephiroth here. But that's just me. I don't, But yeah, like what she says, we only have a little time left, etc., etc. Clearly, this girl is about to die, okay? Cloud ain't catching on, because he's just confused by the whole situation. And, like when you're in the thick of it, it's hard to see what's going on. But as, a player of the game and especially as an OG fan, we understand what she's saying.
Absolutely.
So, when I mentioned that this is from Zack's side of the story, the reason I say that is because, one, it is, that's the truth. Two, what they're doing right now, if you play Crisis Core or Crisis Core Reunion, you very quickly pick up on the fact that this is reminiscent of her first day and date with Zack. So they meet in the church, she says hello, blah, 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 same way that her and Cloud met in the church. And then she's taking him back to Sector 7. Or to the train station or something like that, so that he can get back home. But along the way, antics happen, etc. They end up spending a bunch of time in this place with vendors, and eventually he buys her the ribbon that she still wears. So 5 years later, well, 6 years, I guess, technically, she's still wearing the same ribbon. She's still wearing pink, just like Zack wanted her to do on their next date. Hint, hint. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, if it was any more on the nose, I'd sneeze.
I mean, this is beyond on the nose. I mean, this is just wow.
Hey, let's check it out. Come on. Ta-da! Can I have one? Can I? Please?
Which one do you want?
Whichever one you pick.
Why are you acting so weird? Well, you are. This isn't you.
If you ask me, I'd probably say, this piece.
I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna let him choose.
Everything is free. But remember, it's one per person.
This is it. After much cajoling, Cloud is about to give his very first gift to Aerith. Only question is, which one will he choose?
She is adorable.
That one.
Ah, I'm so sorry. I meant everything but that one. Tell you what, I've got something else I think you'll love. Come on, man.
You know, that's actually pretty neat. Perfect, even.
You kidding me?
I'll miss these moments.
Listen.
Oh my God.
Listen. Okay. First, I want to say Aerith is adorable. I just love their interaction. Like, where he's like, you just acting weird. Like, what's going on? And she's like pouting like a child. It's like, oh, please, can I have one? You know, she's just cute. But while I enjoy the interaction, we all understand if this is supposed to be the couple, why this is a massive issue. Okay.
Then look.
Like, that literally could have been a father and a daughter talking. Okay. And it would make no difference whatsoever. No difference whatsoever. That could have been Marlene begging for something, and it would have made no difference. Okay.
Really. If I may just point this out, notice how Aerith uses the word cajoling. She's like, look, this has been the dynamic between these two the entire time. Aerith has to drag Cloud everywhere.
Literally.
She has to drag him in there. She has quite literally has to grab him by the arm and yank him everywhere because he's not putting the effort forward in any of this. And again, it's not because he just doesn't care about Aerith. He's just not interested in pursuing a romantic relationship with her. And the fact that this is the last date and he's still kind of dragging his feet, and here, like this right here is a prime example of Dojima offering you a contrast. Okay, this is a contrast, not only for you, the player, but Aerith is watching this contrast too, because she is taking Cloud on the exact same date that she went on with Zack. And this vendor right here, the one that's selling the little hair clips, is the same vendor that sold her the ribbon. And
is it really the same guy? I don't even remember that part, honestly.
I don't know if it's the exact same one. I know that I think it was Lolly that actually went through and grabbed.
He looks very similar to him for sure. I just didn't know if it was the exact same. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I get your point. I'm sorry, I'm nitpicking.
Supposed to be, regardless of if it's the exact same person or not, this is an exact contrast. It is supposed to be.
Similar to the last vendor that they go to where they get the ribbon. Absolutely.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And you can see the difference in the way that Zack behaves. First of all, Zack is the one offering to buy Aerith something. Here, Aerith says, I have to cajole you to get me something. In Crisis Core, Zack is the one saying, Aerith was perfectly fine window shopping. That was what she did. She didn't actually go. But Zack was like, I'll get you something. And
I'll call it a memento, for the first day that we met. It kind of like what she called the flower when she gave it to Cloud. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. And then Zack takes it upon himself to put it on her. Aerith, she picks up this, this reunion flower lily pin, whatever, and Cloud looks at it. He knows what the reunion lily means. If this is supposed to be some romantic outing between him and Aerith, and he gets offered this pin that Aerith herself says, oh, this is perfect. She's obviously happy with it. And he turns his head, frowns, and says, are you kidding me? Makes her put it on herself. This is not peak romance. I'm sorry. And this is terrible.
Imagine that was Tifa. Imagine if he did the same shit.
Never hear the end of
it. You know what? We would hear the end of it because we wouldn't be here. I'd be like, well, clearly this ain't clearly Claudia's not happening. I'm done. Okay.
Exactly. My ass would be out the door. And again, this is all done on purpose. Okay, there's no trickery happening here. This is all done intentionally. Okay, Nojima put this thing together in just this way, so that way when you came back and you watched these scenes, and again, they encouraged you to play Crisis Core Reunion. They encourage you to read the books. They want you to make these connections. Because when you make those connections, these scenes are not always what they appear to be on a first viewing. For example, there's been a lot of targeting of, streamers, first people who experience this scene for the first time, and they're confused by what they're seeing and stuff. But if you understand a lot of the subtext and you understand a lot of the background information, this scene is going to come across very differently.
Well, I mean, but even and honestly, like I watch a lot of reactions too, and even then, they still are picking up that something is just off in general.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, again, like we said before, I don't know why people we run around bragging the fact that people are turned off by the idea of our ship happening, but okay. I mean, if that floats your boat, but I mean, I wouldn't be running around like, oh my God, look at all the people having horrific reactions to the idea that Cloud and Aerith might be together. I'm sure they're just, that is so amazing. Like, okay, whatever you say. All I know is I'm glad that every single time of the 100 times I've watched the kiss scene, the Gongaga scenes, I've never seen somebody have a visceral reaction. Oh my God, I cannot believe that Cloud and Tifa almost, oh my God, I can't believe they actually kissed. They almost kissed. How repulsive. Like, I'm just glad that ain't my ship. That's all I'm saying. Exactly. But y'all go ahead and keep bragging about it. Do what you want to do, but okay.
All I gotta say is weird flex. Weird
flex. And I just want to make a couple of notes. Just I like to give a bit of information as well, as you know. So No Promises to Keep, the instrumental version is playing right now, and while they like to think, because it's about Cloud and Aerith, first off, Nojima said it's not about any particular person, but I will also say the person who she was actually tragically separated from for 5 years And now she's taking, you know, like she's taking Cloud on this Xerath date essentially right now, but it's going completely wrong. Yeah, that might have something to do with the song playing too. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. And then also, and there is a stamp, and that stamp dog is a new dog that is only in Aerith's dream, as she said. And it looks just like Zack. Look at this damn dog. Look at it. I was like, oh my God, this girl is never getting over Zack Fair. And I wouldn't either. Look at him. Girl.
I know.
I wouldn't either.
And then to drive the point further, guess whose fine ass pops up every 5 or so minutes?
Who's about to pop up right now as we speak?
As we speak.
Oh my God. But yeah.
In case there was any doubt as to what was going on. In case there's any doubt.
And one more quick thing about the reunion lily pendant. Like you said, he knows the meaning. And you know how he knows the meaning of it? Because Aerith Gainsborough in chapter 2 of Remake told him to his face what it means. So he knows, and he knows she knows what it means. And he refused to touch that pendant and got pissed off. And because, not only because he didn't want to give it to her, but also because of the meaning, but also because she said, I'll let him choose. Then the vendor pulls a move. Oh, I meant everything but that. Oh, but you can have this. And then Aerith's like, oh yeah, this is perfect. Like, wait a second. I thought you wanted a gift from me, or did you just want whatever you wanted? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's his reaction.
In fact,
do I get a say in this?
Do I get a say in this? And I mean, this is a common theme in their relationship. And Cloud says this twice. Also, he says it once in Remake, in Walmart. He says, don't bother arguing with her. She's going to do whatever she wants. And then he says it again in Cosmo Canyon.
Absolutely. And he says in a resolution saying, do I get a say in this? Like, you're telling me not to fall in love with you and blah, blah, and whatever. But like, it's like, do I have any agency in what I do? That's what he's saying. When they're in Aerith's house, he says, stop acting like you know me. Like, she is always making decisions. And again, it's not out of a malicious place. If this was Zack, he wouldn't care. You know what I'm saying? But Cloud is, as she said, you aren't Zack. And she finally is realizing he clearly is not Zack. He is not going to respond the same way that Zack will respond to the things that she does. It has nothing to do. She is gorgeous. She is adorable. She has a fun personality. It is no fault of Aerith other than they are just not compatible. Because Cloud is not Zack.
Exactly, and as an NPC,
don't you say it? Don't you say it? Let's not spoil the beans on that.
Let's spoil it.
Now, where to next? That way. Come on.
Now, I want to take note about the fact that Cloud took note that she took his hand, right? First off, if the Aerith route is the canon route, they already held hands in the gondola, so why is he looking all shocked that she took his hand in the first place? I just wanted to toss that in there since it's the canon route, and the whole thing makes perfect sense if you take the Aerith route as if it's not all the same damn game, okay? Why is just a simple, like, her taking his hand and leading him around, which she has done she did in chapter 2 of this game, by the way. And he looked at his hand there and was like, okay, what is going on here? Okay, this is 32 chapters deep. They've been on 6 dates. Okay, this is the 6th date. They're supposedly canonically in love with each other. And he's looking like, why is she taking my hand? What is going on here?
But see, that's exactly what I brought up in the.
No, go ahead. I was just skipping ahead.
That's exactly what I said in the last video that we did, where we're talking about the gondola dates. You go on the quote unquote Aerith route. I hate using that term because it's so
dumb
reductive.
And it's not true.
It's so reductive, but regardless, let's, for the sake of argument, and both times Aerith shows up at his door. And she says, "Oh, let's do this couple thing." And Cloud looks at her and goes, "Couples, as in?" And it's like,
dun, dun, dun.
according to a certain group of shippers, Cloud and Aerith are already together. They're dating. They're boyfriend and girlfriend officially in canon.
In love.
But somebody forgot. But somehow, when you are taking the quote-unquote canon route by going after Aerith, Cloud is just Cloud's like, well, this is news to me.
Couples, what? I believe lightning literally strikes behind his head when he says that too. It is hilarious. Oh my god. Okay.
It's your lucky day, you two. Feel free to take whatever you'd like.
Again, the stamp dog.
There's only one per person.
Then we better choose wisely.
That is clearly Zach coded. I cannot stop laughing about this dog.
So hung up on the smell.
Oh my god.
It's very on the nose.
This is so, oh my god, Cloud and Aerith are so in love. Yeah.
I'll take one of those.
And by the way, the vendors have the
yeah.
same reaction
What
no
of
matter
those?
what Cloud chooses. Like the
Alright.
just for people who don't know. It's the same stuff no matter what he chooses because he has
So
no
these aren't
agency
the
in any
only
of
treats
this.
I've got, you know. How about my latest creation?
Really? Let's try it.
Sure.
Go on, enjoy.
He saw her reaction. He was like, "Oh, this ain't gonna be, this ain't gonna be good."
Figured I'd pull out all the stops for my last hurrah.
Don't pull that anymore.
Guess I pulled out one too many.
It just needs a little sugar, maybe.
Yeah. And take out whatever's making my tongue tingle.
Air's like, "Oh my
Like I
god,
need to
Cloud,
start over."
please."
If only we all had more time, am I right?
Hilarious. All right, there's not much to really say there. Yeah, the commentary is so
the
meta.
meta commentary is so like I cannot get past people trying to just look me in the eye and tell me, "Oh, she'll be back alive in the next game." And it's like, are you kidding me right now?
See, they want
Like,
the best of both worlds. They want her to both. They want all of this to be foreshadowing her death, so it's all romantic in their heads. But then want her to live too. So like they want the tragic love story thing because that's what they've sold themselves on for 27 years, 28 years now. My God, that this is all one big tragic love story, and you know. He'll forever be hollow without her. He'll adopt kids with another woman, sleep with another woman every night, and all this other stuff. But don't worry, it's all really about Aerith, so don't worry about it. They've sold themselves on this bill of goods for 28 years. Then or I guess at the time, 27. And then they see, but then now that this too is barreling down on them, and they realize they sound crazy. Okay, because nobody is gonna believe any of this stuff. They don't believe it now. They certainly ain't gonna believe it in this too. When we've seen everything that Cloud and Tifa have already gotten in this enhanced version of OG, which is basically what this is. Ain't no way. Okay, like yeah, Aerith is clearly dead, and let's be very clear. Aerith can live to be 1,000 years old. She is never going to be with Cloud Strife, and we're seeing why right now. Tifa and Zack don't even exist in this dream world, and it's still all going wrong because they are not compatible. They are not ever going to be together. That's why. They already talking about live stream scenes and all this other stuff, and you're getting the live stream scene right now how it would actually occur. Like Cloud would be missing the point. He'd be closed off, missing the point. You know, like, okay, all right, if that's what you want, but this is never happening. And chapter 14 lays it out very clearly.
Yeah, and it's not for lack of trying on Aerith's part.
Oh my God.
Aerith has look. As the vendor who just sold them the candy says, she's pulled out all the stops. there is, she's not being subtle. She has never been subtle with Cloud at all. She has always tried to push dates on this guy. And if she can't get more than a handhold out of this boy, it's over.
After 32 chapters, after she's time traveling supposedly to be with him, she's supposedly time traveling specifically to be with this man who because they're so madly in love. And this is his reaction to them on a last date. I mean, I rest my case. It's in the game. I mean,
and again, it was done on purpose. It's just the people who don't want to believe it are just refusing to see the evidence that's been piled in front of them.
Laid out very clearly.
Laid out in triplicate. It has been laid out in triplicate.
All right, we're going to talk about the Zack portions later. Because we really just want to get to this. But what we meant by the Zack, like Zack be popping his fine ass up every once in a while. Yeah. And he is still holding onto Aerith's ribbon that he gave her. Okay, he's still searching for her. I mean, you want to talk about I'm searching for you. That's exactly what Zack has been doing this whole time, as Aerith has simultaneously been searching for him as well. She's just been misplacing her feelings, searching for him in another man. Like, that's what's going on.
So this is where you've been hiding, in a world that has accepted its fate.
Hey, what's that?
And remember, she told Cloud to play
Let's
along
go
at the
see.
beginning of all this too.
Just as you must.
And notice, even he doesn't fight taking her hand, but she's still leading him.
Sorry, folks. I've only got one shot left.
We were next.
We've been waiting for ages.
We don't have any photos together.
We don't have any either.
Okay, how about you all pose? Cute.
And notice she just said, no, she said, we don't have any photos together either. I thought they took a lover's selfie in Cosmo King. Oh, was that an optional scene and therefore it isn't being counted? Oh, but I thought the Aerith route was the canon route. So wouldn't they have already had a photo? Oh, funny how that works.
This looking couple gets their photo taken.
But of course, they don't believe anything that come out of Aerith's mouth unless they agree with it. So whatever. That is Zack's pose right off the cover, and notice there is a stamp dog holding a little dog in the background. Okay, like this is so crazy.
Okay, you two, smile real big for the camera now.
That is the biggest smile you gonna ever get out of Cloud Stripe in this situation. He like, I am smiling.
Hold on, Biggs.
Just take the
I'm
photo.
coming.
All right, so yeah, I want to go over
and talk about look and
go ahead.
and I was gonna say talk about the glorious timing of shoving Zack back in.
The default pose is Cloud literally posing like Zack off the cover of the game. Okay, a stamp dog behind them that's carrying another one. Okay, that is ill. I can't imagine what that is supposed to allude to. And then as they're taking this couple's photo, okay, it shoots back to Zack. Come on, this is outrageous. I mean, can you even imagine if this was oh my god. Okay, I always do these like scenarios in my head. Like if this was Tifa and Cloud doing a last date, but it was a tea party, and every once in a while they'll throw Emilio in and some memories of Emilio or Emilio trying to find. Oh my god, there is no way I would ever.
Even worse. Like let's even worse. Let's say Cloud and Tifa are on like a last date together, before the world ends, and then like every 2 seconds, Aerith is just like an image of Aerith. Do you honestly think
Oh
that
my god!
Do you honestly think that Claris would be conceding defeat and going, "Oh well, Cloud and Tifa are the canon couple now"? Or do you think they'd be they would be raking our asses over the coals for Aerith showing up every 2 minutes in the middle of a Cloud and Tifa date?
Cloud takes Tifa on a date. And it's mirroring some date that him and Aerith had, and yeah, Aerith's popping up in 5 seconds. And oh my god, I would be horrified. I'd be like, okay, I'm done with this game.
Right?
Come on, let's go.
And then this guy.
Why'd you pass on us?
Well, for starters, you don't look like you're on a date. More like at a funeral.
Well, I don't think that's true at all.
Just have fun while you can, huh? See ya.
I want to remind everyone, this is Aerith's world. All these NPCs, they are all extensions of her world. And this is the commentary that they're telling her. And then we wonder why she has the reaction she has to Cloud in the church. Like, come on, like even your own headcanon NPCs don't believe y'all could ever be anything. Like, and we would be remiss if we did not mention the fact that in the other languages, it's far worse. Like the English really gives them an out with that whole funeral comment, because the other one literally, and one of them is like, you have no chemistry, period. That's why y'all didn't win. Like, it's clear y'all are not a couple.
Yeah, and the original, and honestly, all the other languages fit more in line with the Japanese. The Japanese straight up says, "You have no spark." So that is far more in line with the "you have no chemistry," or I think the Chinese says, "You lack the couple feeling," or whatever. Yeah.
They lacking a whole lot according to this man right here. I mean, when you got an NPC in the game telling you in 7-8 different languages that your ship has no chemistry in one way or another, it's time to hang it up. Okay, like,
it's not just, and the thing is, it's not just any old scene. This scene is a quote-unquote date, and that's the last date.
And by the way, it's called The Last Date, but sure, she's gonna pop back up anytime now.
As you so eloquently put it earlier, this is 32 chapters in, and this is the verdict. Non-optional, canon, non-skippable. This man looks your pairing in the face and says, "You have no chemistry, period. You have no spark. You lack the couple feeling. You look like you're at a funeral." Wrap it up. It's done.
Hey, there, Pat's Cloud on this. Hey, just have fun while you can, buddy. But y'all ladies, this ain't happening. And then they'll say, "Oh, well, it's only because she dies." And I'm going to say it once again, Monkey. You know what I'm about to say. Yuna was literally on a pilgrimage to die for the planet the entire game. And not once did anybody look her and Titus in the face and say, "Y'all have no spark, no chemistry, and any of this stuff." And not once did Yuna turn to Titus and say, "Your feelings for me aren't real because she knows she dies." Yeah, she knew that, and they still fell in love, kissed. I want to mention that, kissed. Okay, they still did all the couple stuff. And she didn't deny them having feelings for each other, and NPCs were running around saying they have no chemistry. Okay, so y'all can miss me with that nonsense. Okay.
Here, and how about this one? How about a more recent example? Let's talk about Final Fantasy 16.
Well, I'm gonna put a spoiler alert, by the way, on all this. Go ahead.
All right. Spoiler alert for Final Fantasy 16. Okay, so at the very end, Clive is about ready to go to his death, and it's pretty obvious that he's probably not going to come back from this mission. Does Gav walk up to him and Jill and go, I don't think you guys look like a couple. No, they share a passionate kiss before he leaves.
So before he leaves, when they both had the feeling that he won't return, they still share a passionate kiss. He doesn't instead say our feelings for each other aren't real and walk off. Like if you put that shit in any other context, it sounds absolutely ridiculous. But they believe this stuff and they run around all over the internet terrorizing people over it. It's crazy. Y'all sound crazy. I'm sorry. I don't know any other way to put it. Those explanations wouldn't fly for any other game, for any and for no other couple in this very game. Period.
If you think that if there was any example of any character, NPC or otherwise, that looked at Cloud and Tifa and said, "You guys don't look like a couple," would there be any context? Would there be any context in which anyone in this fandom would give Cloud and Tifa leeway? Absolutely not.
Not at all. Not at all.
Now then, where shall we go to next?
God, they look so in love.
Talk to me.
Did you see that girl in the back? Even she ain't buying this shit either. She like, they look a mess. Lord, girl, give it up.
Talk to me. What's going on with this place? With you? And please don't play dumb.
God, the look of love in
All
her
right.
face. Oh.
I'll tell you when we get to our spot, okay?
Where's that?
Pause. Pause, okay? Where's that?
Man.
if Eric turned to Zach and said, "Let's go to our spot," and he was like, "Where's that?" Do you think a single Cloud and Aerith shipper would give them any lip? Oh my God, I can't believe that's where they spent the most time together. How could he not know what her spot is, what her favorite place in the world is? He doesn't know her. What a two-time asshole. It would have been all that. Oh, he's probably mixing her up with another girl. It'd have been all that. If Tifa turned to Cloud and said, "Let's go to our let's go to our spot," and he was like, "What the hell is our spot?" I'm out. Again, if these are two straight, which they are, frankly, and that's why this makes sense. Okay, but for them, these two are supposedly in love. People are time traveling to get them together. Okay, and he doesn't know what she means by our spot. Literally, they have only been in Sector 5. There's only two places it could be. He gives an exasperated sigh and says, "Where's that?" He could have just at least guessed, it's either the church or her house. It can't be anywhere else.
And then the way that never mind. I'm just gonna let the scene play, and then I'll make my commentary.
Okay, you let me know when you need to pause.
It's one of my most favorite places. Can I make it any more obvious?
And he still has no clue what she's talking about.
Yeah, and she seems almost offended.
I would be too. If we're supposed to be madly in love. Meanwhile, look at here. Oh, who is that? Golly gee, that's the church, and who's sitting at it?
Okay. Pause. Okay. Oh my God. The Najiba is that man has got
brutal.
That man's got an agenda. My God.
Oh man, listen, they so obsessed with Cloud and Tifa. Okay. And I get it because but this man right here is their worst nightmare. Their worst nightmare. Because they know Aerith is not going to reunite with this man and reject him to his face saying, hey, I'd rather be with your best friend who I knew 16 days. The one that you died saving his life. Yeah, I'd rather be with him. It ain't, I mean, on so many levels, it's not going to happen. First off, she has been writing him letters for 5 years. Okay. They were in love. They dated 18 months. Okay. She's still wearing his ribbon. She's still wearing pink for him. You see how disastrous this quote unquote date is going. And she as you mentioned, brilliantly mentioned, she knows how it would be with Zach instead. And that was the first day they met. First date versus last date. One is a complete disaster. The other one, it was kind of dorkish and fun, because it's Zach fumbling around trying to figure out how to impress her and stuff. It's super cute. And it ends very well. And they almost kiss on that date. Okay. Come on. Oh man. And this man, after he has no clue what our spot is, this man's sitting at our spot. Go.
And not only that, but Zach keeps coming to this spot. Okay? This is not the first time that he has come to this spot. He was at this spot in Intergrade.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of Remake. And then he comes back to this spot again.
At the end of Rebirth.
At the end of Rebirth. In fact, one might say he's waiting in their spot. And unlike Cloud, Zach has actual memories in that church with Aerith. The only time that Cloud spent in the church with Aerith was their very first meeting.
Literally, and he literally had to fall into the church to even be there. And then he pretended he didn't even know who Aerith was.
Exactly.
So romantic. Oh my God. True love.
And that is, again, maybe why Cloud didn't know what Aerith was talking about when she said, oh, our spot. And Cloud's like, well, what's that? Because he's only been there one time
because
with
she's
her.
clearly not really talking about her and Cloud.
What, maybe more like the man who went over there repeatedly to spend time with Aerith, spent time in there building flower wagons for her, writing little notes to each other, with her writing her list of wishes, and him going there to say goodbye to her, him crying
in her arms, like, yeah, maybe the person she actually spent a ton of time with in the church.
The one who has an actual connection to that building.
Now we are gonna watch this accent just because a very important part comes up.
Biggs.
And then we'll just do the last part.
Or Aerith.
Yeah.
How the hell am I supposed to choose?
Sephiroth just so damn bold. He just gonna walk past Zack like he like he ain't even there.
Sephiroth. Hey.
I love Sephiroth's swagger so much. He's like, oh, you.
You want a piece of me?
No, not you.
He's like, you already dead. Yeah, I got somebody else I need to kill.
Exactly.
Like, if you take the delusional goggles off of these things, like, it's actually interesting stuff going on here.
Exactly.
They just need this to be romantic, like mutually romantic between Cloud and Aerith, and it simply is not. And they know that. They do. They spend far more time defending, and not because people are making crazy statements. I'm sorry, real quick. They spend far more time defending all of this than they do actually enjoying it. Because they don't even actually really enjoy it. And they understand why. Like, yeah, we spend a lot of time defending our sins, but it's because they make up these insane accusations about Cloud, Tifa, and Cloud and Tifa as a couple constantly. I mean, saying Gaga is sexual assault. I mean, yeah, like people are going to, but we don't make outrageous statements about this. What have we said that's untrue or that's unfair even? We haven't said anything unfair about what's going on here. I'm not, we're just calling it for what it is, and they're gonna act like that, like we waged war just simply for telling them what's going on in the scene factually. You know what I'm saying? We're just watching it and responding.
Exactly. And the thing is all we're doing is just applying the knowledge that we've already accumulated up to this point to the scenes that we're watching in front of us. Like, we know the backstory of these characters. We know what things are being referenced during these scenes. And we know
we know the contrast.
And we know why Zack is intrinsically tied to all of this. And we know what this is building towards. We don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but we know it's coming.
Exactly. Like, this is not like these things being tied together, this being part of Zack's story, this being, you know, all of this going back and forth between what Cloud and Aerith are doing versus what Zack is doing. These aren't accidents, you know. This isn't a bunch of monkeys in a typewriter room, like as the you know, that whatever that saying is, you know, just all of them typing on typewriters and this accidentally is showing up. No, human beings are creating this and putting these scenes together in a specific order for a reason. They could have shown these exact scenes anywhere. They didn't have to do it here, and they didn't have to put this Cloud and Aerith date in the Zack story. Like, open your eyes. And now look at here. Oh, golly gee, where have we seen that before? If you have played the quote unquote, and I say Aerith route only because I'm mocking the idea, okay?
Exactly.
If you played the quote unquote Aerith route where she's singing this grand love song to Cloud, okay, the same man who will rub up against another woman and hold her hand in Aerith's face as she's singing about supposedly her and Cloud holding each other, you know, like never letting go of each other, okay? Cloud catches a petal and in a very similar way. And let's see what Zack does next. I'll find a way, you'll see. Now, this is the man who supposedly has already given up because a 4-year-old told him that that Aerith likes Cloud. This is a man who supposedly is giving up now on him and Aerith being together. And I guess what? He's going to find a way to what exactly? Have Cloud and Aerith reunite, even though that he, you know, like I'm confused as to what the logic is here. And I'm sure it'd be a hilarious explanation, whatever it is. But he catches a reunion lily, okay, ones that he was helping Aerith sell, and he very well knows the meaning of. He's just following the yellow fly. Oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, but almost like that little quote from Remake, where Aerith was inside of the Shinra building, and she says, "Follow them, the yellow flowers." Who's she talking to, Stitch?
Well, you remember though that Cloud is always following the yellow flower. Oh no. Oh, actually, he never does he?
He never does.
In fact, so Cloud, Aerith gives Cloud the yellow flower. He immediately turns it over to Tifa an hour later. But I'm sure that means nothing. Oh, she asked for it, whatever these nonsense excuses are. And then there's a reunion lily on Tifa's door in Nibelheim in his head. But I'm sure that's just, you know, coincidence. You know, Tifa planted it there in his head because, you know, she's making a false. I mean, y'all would not believe. I know people who are not on Twitter every day might be confused by some of the stuff that we're saying, but like, you would not believe the excuses that these people come up with to justify why they still ship Cloud and Aerith after all this. It's incredible.
Yeah, man.
It is absolutely incredible. Church is so pretty. It needs to be cleaned up, but it's pretty.
This is it, right? Our spot?
Bingo.
That was easy.
I told you it was obvious.
Well, you'll have to give me a harder one next time.
Oh? Next time?
I mean, why not?
Yeah. Why not?
So for people who don't know, he can have two responses here. He can either say, why not? Or in the Japanese, it says, we're friends or something like that. Or he'll say, yeah, of course, next time. Something like that. He'll turn to her and say, we're, next time. But it's very important to note, no matter what he says, Aerith's response is the exact same outside of like she just repeats what he says, but then everything else is the exact same.
At least I know now. Where you and I stand, I mean.
True love.
Woof.
Thing is, Cloud, I really like you. But then, like can mean a lot of different things, can't it? Because there's liking, and then there's liking.
All right, so we're gonna stop there. I'm gonna let you explain. I'm gonna let you explain that part, but I also just want to preface it with, at the beginning of this chapter, Marlene tells Zack that Aerith likes Cloud. This is a follow-up to that, and that is not, they don't want to hear this, but this is a follow-up to it. She's like, yeah, I mean, it's not a direct follow. You get what I'm saying. Like, it's not like she heard the conversation, but it's an indirect follow-up where she is affirming, yes, I like you, but there are different kinds of like.
I was just going to say, like, before I delve into a deeper part of the conversation, just looking at the facial expressions of both Tifa and, excuse me, God.
We're keeping that in.
No. Yeah, that was a split.
Oh, go ahead, girl.
Okay. If you look at the expressions of both Aerith and Cloud, and my God, they both look so, like, uncomfortable. I mean, Aerith here, but when you go to Cloud too, like when you pay attention to Cloud's face, he looks like he passed gas in church. Like he's got the most uncomfortable looking face. You're like, oh God, oh, what do I do?
Here we go again. Okay, how many confessions this girl gonna? Like, can you just spit it out? What's going on here?
Yeah, it's like how do I tell her, man?
Like I thought we already had this conversation, but here we go.
But an important distinction to know here. Now, I will preface this by saying Nojima, in the months leading up to Rebirth, was hawking his book something fierce on his Twitter account. Like it was very heavy marketing on his part. He's like, look, you guys want to understand what's going on in the re-trilogy? Well, he didn't use the term re-trilogy, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was basically saying, if you want to understand what's going on in Rebirth, read this book, Traces of Two Paths. And of course, he's doing his job, hawking the book that he just, wrote. But it is, and he also made it clear that there was going to be references to that book in the game.
Yep.
That it was all connected. And there's points in Rebirth where it's extremely obvious where these connections are. Like, for example, the conversation between Tifa and Aerith on the boat to Junon. That is a direct reference to Aerith's portion of Traces of Two Paths, where they're having the conversation. A lot of the stuff pertaining to Tifa's childhood was incorporated from Traces of Two Paths. Getting to hear Thea's voice during the live stream sequence in Gongaga, that's also lore added from Traces of Two Paths. But one not quite so well known one, but one that I picked up on immediately, is this line that Aerith says here, where she says, "There's liking and then there's liking." That is a direct reference to Tifa's portion of Traces of Two Paths, and I believe it was page 19. I think I remember.
Yeah, it was. I believe it was 18 and 19, or 17, 18, 19.
Yeah,
yeah. Like 19 is when the water tower scene happens.
Yeah. So she's up on the water tower, and she's having this realization that she has a special like for Cloud. And it says the kind of like where it ties up your heart and makes you want to be with that person for the rest of your days.
Yes.
Tifa, at the age of 13, is realizing what kind of like she feels for Cloud. And it's the kind of like where she's basically ready to marry this boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
She is so in love with him that she wants to spend the rest of her life with him.
And an important thing to mention, though, I just want, while you're saying this, the reason the liking is because right before that, she says, you know, I like, the book basically says she likes Cloud, but does she love him? So it follows up with what you're saying right here. She realized on the water tower that she does like Cloud, as in love him. Aerith is clearly having the opposite reaction here. I really like you, but I don't love you like that.
Exactly. This is she is having the reverse experience of what Tifa had on the water tower. Now, mind you, this is not a 13-year-old girl. This is a 22-year-old woman. Okay, having this realization.
Yes.
This is
Aerith, we might add. This is the so-called Omni-Aerith, the one that knows everything, right? She's got the white material that's all white and glowing because she's got all these memories and stuff, right? So this is the one that supposedly knows everything, and she's saying basically having the opposite revelation of Tifa on the water tower, where she's like, there's liking and then there's liking, and she has this uncomfortable, I mean, that is not a smile of like, oh, I'm so in love. This is a smile of like, ooh, this is an uncomfortable conversation. Yes, because and this is what I keep trying to tell people, like, because the question has been posed to me, well, why would she even warn Cloud not to fall in love with her in her resolution scene if it's something that she doesn't know already happened? First thing I point out is she also was surprised to hear that Cloud was even concerned the fact that she got kidnapped by Shinra in the same scene. Okay, but really that commentary is about herself. She knows what she's feeling for Cloud is not real, because she knows that her feelings for Cloud are misplaced because of Zack. But she knows that, she understands that, but she still is not feeling it yet. Does that, you see what I'm saying? Like in her heart, her heart is still torn about it. This scene is a follow-up to her resolution. Now she is really occurring to her after everything that's gone on and stuff like that. Like, no, I really don't, like, I just, like, I like you, but it isn't the like I have for Zack. And it's never gonna be.
Exactly.
She just misses Zack. She loves Cloud as a person. She'll always care for him. She'll always watch over him, protect him, but she is not in love with him. She thought she was, but she isn't.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, real quick. And my guess would be, I don't know what all this, jumping around worlds and all this stuff, timelines and all this. I will say this. It is very obvious that Aerith has not reunited with Zack. And once she has, I think that's when we will get the full-blown clarity from her end as to what has been going on in her mind all this time. Right now, she's really just like this whole sequence. I think the true purpose was to give him the white materia and to kind of keep him away from Sephiroth for one reason or another. I mean, that would be my guess. But this is also Aerith working out her feelings. And this is the conclusion that she comes to. I'm not in love with you. Like, this just isn't. I know what feeling in love, I know what love is, and I know what a man in love with somebody feels like. And, I thought maybe it was just a personality difference, whatever she thought was going on. But no, we're just not into each other like that. That's what's going on.
Exactly. And I might add, too, that this entire time she's been traveling with Cloud and Tifa, and she's been observing their relationship, and she knows how Cloud reacts and behaves around someone he's genuinely in love with.
Exactly.
So she knows that his heart's not in it either. And she appreciates the friendship he offers her, and they do have a special bond as a friendship.
Yes.
But there's just a certain line that neither one of them are going to be able to cross, or maybe even have the desire to cross.
Yes, because on that gondola, when she accidentally trips on him and their faces get close, they both back up. They mutually both back up and get real awkward, like, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. Like, and that happens right before she gives this whole speech about Zach, and every time I looked at you, I saw him, blah blah, but you're not him, and that's okay, which is just the most romantic line I've ever heard. But you're not him, and that's okay. But anyway, and I want to say this, like, they both have now been to each other's spots, if that makes sense. So she's been to his water tower, and, you know, while they're up there, you know, he does this whole grandiose, you know, like, opening for Tifa, like, this is the town hall, and that's Tifa's house, and he sees just she sees his reaction to Tifa coming to the window and waving, and she feels that, and that's why she spurs to say, so this must have been where you kept lookout, like this is clearly where you used to come to look at Tifa, because she noticed that Cloud wouldn't sit where she actually wanted him to sit. He wanted to sit facing Tifa's window. Once you realize that was Tifa's house, you see what I'm saying? So, like, you can, and the point being, you can be in a romantic location, but it's not the location that makes it romantic. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not the location. It's romantic to Cloud because with Tifa, it's not just romantic, period. Whoever I'm up here with, I'm just going to have a romantic time. You know what I'm saying? And then she's having the same realization, you know, like this whole R spot thing, I believe. Now, this is pure, I suppose you could say this is all speculation on my end. I just wanted to say that. But I'm seeing, it's just hitting me now. Like, I'm starting to see that. Now they're in this church, and she's like, it just doesn't feel the same. Like, this isn't how it ever felt with Zach. And like she said, and that's okay. I just want to be with Zach. You know? Anyway, go ahead. That's it. That's all I had to say.
Yeah.
Seriously, what's going on?
Now, this is his response. Like, okay, you've been weird all day. She hates being called weird, by the way. I want to bring that up.
I'm sorry. Whatever happens, don't blame yourself.
He's like, okay. Clearly has no clue if she dies. At all. Even though he's supposedly doing all this to save her. Okay.
Cloud.
Now notice she hugs him tighter.
Thank
you.
He
don't move.
Sorry. I'll be okay.
She had to apologize for hugging her lover that she's been time traveling to be with.
Here. Take it.
But your mom gave that to you.
This isn't about me, though. It's about saving the world. And you. So thank you.
I love that Cloud got distracted as she was talking.
What is this?
He is more concerned about what the hell is going on around him than like the fact that his lover supposedly is giving him a gift. I mean, come on!
It's been fun.
Oh yeah, she's definitely coming back. Don't worry. Don't blame you. Whatever happens, don't blame yourself. It's been fun. Thank you for everything. Oh yeah, this sounds like a chick that's definitely coming back to life.
Look, she's giving him the goddamn Advent children's speech, okay? Like, come on.
I mean, come on. That's the end of it, by the way. Oh, that's the end, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But my God. Okay, so closing thoughts. This whole exposition, most people aren't confused by what's going on here in the first place. Okay, like, I mean, that is like, okay, this is just a really weird, like, this whole, like, chapter 14 is just weird in general. Just like chapter 18 was like in a remake was like, wow, okay, that's a lot being thrown at you at once. And that's all it really is. But all it takes is just a simple, like, taking a step back and actually just looking to see, because this is a game rated T. Like, it ain't, like, there's complications, but you know, this ain't, it really ain't that, you know, that complicated at the same time. I mean, all you got to do is just think to yourself, how would Cloud react if this were Tifa in the same situation? And we all know it would not be this ever. Okay.
No.
Like, it is, the game gives you plenty of contrast, plenty of parallel scenes between Cloud and Tifa and Cloud and Aerith. And that's why the vast majority of people who just simply play the game, and I'm talking about streamer or anybody, can see clearly his relationship with Tifa is on a different level. It just is.
Yeah,
you know?
and that is
obvious.
Why. Yes, and that is why there is this insane push to not only diminish, but basically to make of none effect any of Cloud and Tifa's scenes together.
Yes.
Why there's this push to basically ignore any of Tifa's scenes that are quote unquote optional or whatever. You don't see that same push with characters like Barrett or characters like Yuffie or Vincent or Sid or any of the other characters. There's plenty of scenes with each of these characters that are tied
missable
to side
or
quests.
optional. Yes,
missable or optional, but it's only one character in particular that people go out of their way. Again, a certain class of people go out of their way to basically say, no, this is the bad route. The developers put this in as a joke, or this is the non-intended route, or this was just fan service. I mean, they got like about 50 different
7,000 damn explanations as to why you should ignore every scene with Cloud and Tifa.
because when you put Cloud and Tifa scenes, because this right here, this chapter that we just watched, is what Claire's considered to be the pinnacle of their ship. Let that sink in. This is supposed to be the magnum opus over here, and it can't stand up to any of Cloud and Tifa's scenes. Okay, I don't think
none of them.
None of them. So the only option they have is to say no. Cloud and Tifa scenes don't count. They don't actually happen. Only this route happens. Even though the developers have never said anything about that, there is nowhere where they can go to say, oh, well, this is the only route that counts. No, that is all them.
Not a single developer has ever said that. In fact, they've said the opposite. Okay, multiple times they've said that they put care. They just said it recently. They put care into all the characters and how they're portrayed and all the scenes. Okay. Mm-hmm. So no developer saying this. Square Enix isn't saying it. No reviewers. I mean, no serious ones at least. I've never seen a reviewer say, "Oh, you can just ignore entire swaths of this game if they don't suit your taste." Only Cloud and Aerith shippers say stuff like that, and only Cloud and Aerith shippers, okay, tell people, "Hey, ignore entire titles in the compilation." I have never seen anybody else say, Crisis Core, don't, like, nothing in it counts, is not canon to the story. That is only them. And there's a reason for that. Lo and behold, the one title of the game that they want everybody to ignore is the one where it shows Zack and Aerith are in love and shows where all of these things that Aerith is doing in Cloud's direction come from. Like the one date, exactly. Like the taking them to the park, like this whole Sector 5 date thing, okay? If someone is telling you to ignore pieces of information, like whole games information, like be leery of somebody like that. They clearly have an agenda. Like, who does that? Don't read. Oh, don't worry about Tracy 2 Paths. Don't worry about 2,000 Guild to become a hero. Don't read. Don't consume knowledge. That should be a blaring red flag to anybody. Dismantle the Maiden ain't even canon, and I've read through both of them.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like we educate ourselves on not only all the canon lore, but we educate ourselves on anything that the opposition pushes. Because
I want to know.
I want to know where they're getting their ideas, where they're getting their information from, and where this breakdown in logic is happening at. And because we've read these books, because we've engaged in lore dives and stuff, we understand exactly where these weird ideas are coming from.
Ooh,
we
weird
know
is a nice way to put it.
That's a gentle, YouTube friendly way.
Yeah, for real. And the thing is, Crisis Core was made by the exact same team. I won't say like person for person. I don't want anybody to be, oh, it's not the exact same team. Okay. Nojima wrote it. They will tell you to ignore Crisis Core that Nojima wrote, that is officially part of the compilation, that is clearly incorporated into this re-trilogy. They'll tell you to ignore that, but say Maiden is canon, that was written by literally a third party who has never worked on a single Final Fantasy game ever, has no affiliation with Final Fantasy games other than like he was part of a company that were making the Ultimanias. He wrote this little fan fiction basically inside of one. They'll tell you that is more canon than a whole game in this compilation.
Yeah.
What else needs to be said? It's insane. It's insane. Anyway,
exactly.
We are so off topic, but I just don't I guess our message is don't let them gaslight you. Because that's all they're doing. They know that part 3 is about to whatever's left of their hopes and dreams about Cloud and Aerith being together is about to be crushed in part 3. And that is why they are literally driving people out of the fandom. You on Twitter every day. I see somebody on Twitter every other day saying, oh, I'm tired of being in the FF7 community, blah, blah. And it's because of them. Because instead of just being grown ass people about this and realizing, okay, my ship just isn't happening and I can either choose to continue to support this game or just move on to something else, they literally run around terrorizing people and driving them out of the fandom. And what's so ironically funny about it is, because it's not funny, but ironically, is there is no, as the developers already said, the script is already done. They're already getting into the voice acting. They're obviously far into production. If I had to guess, and I've been saying this for years, it's probably going to come out in 2027 just because it just feels like too good. It's going to be the 30th year anniversary. And it's a 7. I mean, it just seems too perfect. But it'll either be 2027 or 2028, regardless. It's coming out sooner, like very soon, okay? In terms of, like the next 2 or 3 years, okay? There is not a single thing, all this terrorizing, all this trashing Tifa as a character, trashing Cloud, frankly, as a character, all these lies that they spread all over the internet. None of this is going to change what is in that third game. And Hamaguchi said in that AMA, the end was already chosen before the project even began anyway. So all this stuff they're doing is just ego stroking for them. Like the ego stroking and like tantrum throwing. Yeah. Because they just cannot act like human beings and fucking adults and leave people alone because they don't choose to buy into the nonsense that they spew constantly. So, it is what it is. All right, but anyway, it's been fun, Monk. Appreciate you joining me on this one. It was a blast.
Oh, yes, it was. I can't wait to see the fires this one sets. Good word.
Burn it down like Nibelheim. Hey.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Sephiroth, my homie. Let's go.
All right. We'll see y'all later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
This is Stygian Stilettos Gamer, and I am hashtag out of here, honey.